Laser sights increase confidence regardless of experience level, whether you're learning the fundamentals or overcoming aging eyes. Crimson Trace, making laser sight standard equipment. Visit crimsontrace.com to find a dealer near you.
Welcome back to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, live from the FN booth at the NRA show.
All right, we are back, and we're having a ball around here. We're talking. We have as much fun talking during the break as we do on the show because we're doing the same thing. We talk about everything else. We're joined right now by Kevin Jarnigan. KJ from Team Gun Talk is here. And Kevin, you brought one of your buddies in with you.
I did. I met Travis Hall. I mean, it's been a few years ago.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years now. I think it was NRA, actually. Yeah.
It was an NRA show. I met him actually over the Blue Force Gear booth, and I'm always interested in the follow-up to events that happen, high trauma events that happen, and getting medical attention. And this man right here, Travis Hall, or as he's also known as Doc T.
Doc T. Yeah, the Doc T.
How'd that come about?
Yeah.
So I was a Green Beret medic for a lot of years, and it's basically my radio call sign from overseas.
Okay.
When you're overseas, you really don't want to put out last names. You don't want to put out, a lot of information over the radio.
Because you're going to bad places with bad people.
Bad places, bad people. Good people, too. There's a lot of good stuff that happened over there. I hate to just focus on the negative. I like to be a positive guy.
Yeah. But you were patching people up.
Yeah, absolutely, and shooting them. But, like a lot of patching.
Did you patch up the same people you shot?
I actually have. I've had some experiences overseas where my guys would have some poor marksmanship. And, like we would go into a house, barricaded situation or whatever, and this one that sticks out, they shot the guy a bunch of times, but they only shot him in the legs. And we were like 8K off the, or 8 miles away from the trucks, and so we had to end up carrying this dude for like 8 miles. And I use it as a marksmanship lesson to my dudes after that. I was like, if you shoot him in the chest, you don't have to carry, you can leave him with the family. You don't have to carry him.
That's just what it is. All right, so you're making the point that if you carry a gun, you ought to think about what happens afterwards.
Absolutely. So over at the Blue Force Gear booth, we've got a guy that lives down in Florida, and he was carjacked last year. He was carjacked, did the right thing. He responded with force. Shot the guy. And after he shot him, turns out he's a teenager, and he went immediately into treating him with our micro-trauma kit that we designed. And, man, I just had to give him a high five on that one because to me, like all day long we carry guns. We all carry guns. But are we thinking tourniquets? Are we thinking med kits? And John did the right thing when he went into treatment because, man, if you got to go stand in front of a jury, he didn't die. The kid was fine.
Right.
It was kind of serious but minor wounds, and he needed attention, but he didn't die. But think about John later on. Had he gone to trial, had he gone had someone tried to sue him for that kid carjacking him, he was able to say, hey, man, I did the right thing. I responded to the threat, and then I treated the kid afterwards.
Well, think about this. When you get in a gunfight, you're not in control of all the bullets.
No.
Bullets come back the other way, and they may not be hitting you. They could be hitting your loved one next to you.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's the person you may be saying, I got to save this person. You're the medic. You've been there, done that. What's the value of being able to stop the bleeding?
Man, there's no. You can't put a price on it.
It's everything.
It's everything. Like there's times where I've messed up overseas, and if I could go back and fix those situations overseas, I was young, man. I was learning. It's a steep learning curve. The only army I've ever known, I knew a little bit of pre-war, but the only army I've ever known was a wartime army.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was an infantry ranger guy before I went to become a Green Beret, and I got thrown into the thick as a Green Beret. I was over there treating people and helping people, and so it was a steep learning curve, and I made some mistakes in the beginning, and I was able to adapt and learn from those mistakes, and tourniquets was a big one, like not having enough or not having the right ones, and not having one that would treat everything. I ran a dog for a couple years at 5th Group, and not having a tourniquet that would work on one of our canines was a big deal. There are brothers, there are sisters.
Yeah, absolutely.
So. Do you guys have tourniquets?
I do. The RATS tourniquet is a huge tourniquet for us. RATSmedical.com. I love that thing. It works on kids. It works on dogs. It works across the board. It's my favorite right now because windlass tourniquets aren't working on children.
Right.
There's a study that came out, if you see my social media, windlass tourniquets are kind of failing on children right now, and it's a big gap. Like we're kind of, you don't hear about the war as much anymore. You hear a lot about stateside problems and school shootings and stuff like that. So having a tourniquet that works across the board is really important.
Absolutely. And you actually just came up with one with Second Chance Med, right?
No, that's Rats Medical.
Rats
we
Medical.
sell it under Rats
so
Medical.
you're going in that direction.
Yep.
Okay.
So when we just put the 2.0 out, we've been selling it here at NRA.
How big is it? Can you really carry it all?
Oh, man, it's so concealable.
Kevin's reaching in his pocket.
Hold a second.
I hope he's not reaching for a gun here.
Hold a second. Here
He's
we go.
pulling it out of his front pocket right now. So
front pocket.
That's tiny.
It's
it is
tiny.
the front pocket of your jeans.
Yeah,
the front pocket of my jeans. It fits in there really nice.
Holy cow.
So my kid actually carries one of these to school.
Why not?
Yeah, he carries
but it's not enough to buy a tourniquet.
You got to train with it.
Okay. How do you learn? I guess, what do we not know about tourniquets? Everybody says, hey, just wrap it around there and tighten it up, man.
Yeah,
grab a belt.
Yes, exactly.
So belt tourniquets have been around for a long time. They're working on it. Tourniquets is one of those things that it's so simple, it's easy, but it's just one of those go through the numbers and learn it correctly. I teach very few classes because I'm on the road a lot doing stuff like this, but I will be teaching some classes out in California, some classes in Savannah. All I'd say is seek out a reputable guy or gal and seek out that training, because tourniquets are they're everywhere. And if you find the one that you prefer, look for training on it. YouTube. Right. Make sure it's reputable on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's some crap. There's some crap on YouTube.
Yeah, but there are a lot of former medics who know what they're doing, and they're teaching classes everywhere. You can find a class somewhere.
StopTheBleed.org is a great website to find some training on tourniquets and stuff. They do a once-a-year event where, they throw everybody who's doing training onto one website, and you can put your zip code in and find somebody to do training. So
it's not just for bullet holes.
It's not.
That's right.
It's not. It's for stabs. I just had a guy he slid into my DMs this morning talking from England who wanted to know, hey, we're dealing with a lot of knife wounds. How do I deal with that? And so... it's hard over a direct message to kind of explain that stuff, but I'm doing my best.
Even car accidents, people fall down in camp. Right. Hey, man, I've seen guys whack himself in the hand with a hatchet, and it's ugly.
We're at NRA. This is a huge hunting event. The number one injury for hunting is heart attacks, but the number 2 injury for hunting is falls from a tree stand. You fall from a tree stand, you could break your femur. You could do a lot of damage to your lower legs. And having a tourniquet on you or having a small med kit on you it's important.
Well, and I think one thing that you actually mentioned is that your son actually carries.
He does. He carries them to school,
and I think that's actually an important lesson for us as parents to learn, is that kids can do this as well. They sometimes they may be the first responders.
If you go back into my social media at 2C Med, you'll see pictures of my son and I playing with them. It's all fun and games to them. It's not a serious nature to them, but he's playing with tourniquets. He's learning how to use them. I'm putting that into his little brain right now. He loves to play doc. He loves to wrap bandages around, and he just thinks it's the coolest thing ever. I'm kind of pushing him to be an orthopedic surgeon and not a 18 Delta.
not a tier 1 kind of guy.
Not a grunt. He needs to be an ortho surgeon. So
you could be both.
Maybe.
Could be both. Now you have 20 years experience.
I just hit 20 in November. Yeah,
just hit 20.
Yeah, 15 of that is in medicine.
Right.
5 of that before that was a ranger infantry guy, not a medic. So,
really?
Yeah, I actually didn't choose to be a medic. They chose it for me. I wanted to be a weapons guy. I wanted to get through the Q course as fast as I possibly could and go start shooting people. But the powers that be wanted me to be a doc, and I'm thankful that they did, because I really enjoyed my career
terrific.
As an 18 Delta.
Where do they find out more about you on the web?
At 2C Med is my Instagram. The at symbol 2C Med.
2C Med. Okay,
and then
of
course Facebook is Second Chance Med. And that's pretty much the 2 that I run. There's a YouTube page up, but I don't do a whole lot with YouTube yet.
Well, and the whole deal is, look, if you carry a gun, you need to have that. And honestly, you need that anyway. I keep tourniquets in my car. If you come up on a car accident, you don't know what you're going to have.
Absolutely.
Stuff happens. What is that?
This is actually one of the coolest things.
All right, we got 1 minute.
Yes, we got 1 minute. Give us the rundown.
So this is the micro trauma kit that we came up with at Blue Force Gear, and we wanted something small that the tiered guys are going to carry, because real estate is a real crime with those dudes. And so what we did was I came up with the ingredients list. We sat down and we sewed up this rad pouch that It pulls both ways, so you can use it with either hand. It works on your kit or on your belt. It's basically got everything that you might need. It's called the Micro Trauma Kit from Blue Force Gear.
And if you're on the range, if you're just going out for a day on the range, just fit it out back, small your back, and it's very slim line.
If you're hunting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, if you're hunting, it's huge.
Every hunter, man.
So as well with the tourniquet, my kid has this med kit with him.
All right.
And he's 6, so he doesn't know how to use it all, but he knows how to pull it out of his bag and hand it to someone who does.
Travis Hall, Dr. T, thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
KJ, thanks for bringing him over.
Anytime.
Very cool. All right, don't go far. When we come back, we're going to have more news straight from the NRA annual meetings in Dallas.
The battlefield, where tyranny is laid to rest, where freedom comes of age, and where legends are conceived. Introducing the FN 509 handgun, a direct result of over 1 million rounds of testing. Descended from over 125 years of the world's most battle-proven firearms on battlefields both foreign and domestic. The FN 509, a legend in the making. Learn more at fnamerica.com.
Now at LibertySafe.com, you can buy a Liberty Safe at a great price and receive 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR, with some safes as low as $20 a month on approved credit. Peace of mind, lifetime warranty, and in-home delivery service. Go to LibertySafe.com now for 12 months interest-free payments with 0 down and 0% APR. LibertySafe.com.
Attacks happen every day. How will you react? See real people put into real-life criminal attack situations on First Person Defender. Discover what works and what doesn't. Kidnapping, ATM robbery, home invasion, and other attacks. Learn how to save your life and the lives of your family. Get the entire first season on DVD at ShopGunTalk.com. Get prepared. ShopGunTalk.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
For more than 70 years, Timney Triggers has been enhancing the shooter's experience. Whether it's a local competition, a day at the range, or even the hunt of a lifetime. Setting the standard in aftermarket triggers, Timney is now producing more than 170 models of triggers for bolt-action rifles, shotguns, AR rifles, and semi-automatic rifles. Proudly made in the USA since 1946. Find your new trigger at TimneyTriggers.com.
Back with Tom Gresham. We are live today at the NRA's annual meetings. Yes, indeed. We're talking to you coast to coast, around the world, all over the universe. KJ's sitting in with me right now. You've been walking around the show for the last 2.5 days.
It's a lot of walking.
It's a lot of walking, a lot of standing, a lot of shaking hands, but it's also a lot of smiling.
It is. And you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because I was talking to a couple yesterday from Indiana.
Right.
And, you know, I was like, what brings you here? And they say, you know, it's just family. This is where we feel like I can be myself. I can express my views with like-minded people. And they fell in love with it 5 years ago, and they've been coming every year since, and they say they would not miss it.
It's interesting how often I have heard people use some variation of that. It's family, it's a group, it's people like me. But not all families get along. You know, I mean, there's some dysfunctional families out there. But this is a family where, as we talk about, you know, people are saying hello, how you doing, where are you from? You mind if I, you know,
polite?
Can I hold that? Can I get the door for you?
Yes.
You know,
they are the most polite people you will ever meet, and which is so refreshing to us because we live in a world where that's not always the norm. We'll all go back home. This show floor will clear out. Mm-hmm. It will clear out. And what we take from this is what's going to affect people around us.
Right. So, keep spreading. I'm looking around the corner. Look at those two little young boys over there right behind.
Yeah.
They're so short they can hardly see them over the countertop there. And I love that. They're just, their families. Wait. Here. Okay, look at this walking right here.
Yeah. Stroller.
Stroller. I got the little one walking next to the stroller, and you got the one who's so little, he's in the stroller, or she is.
And he's packed with stuff. Like, guys are asking him in their booth, whether it's FN or Ruger, whoever it is, they're always going around and saying, come in our booth, we want you to see.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many activities for them to do out here, and it's just being around like-minded people is so nice.
So what have you seen cool? You've been able to go to a few of the booths, probably more than I have so far.
My watch is saying I've gone over 10,000 steps right now just today.
That's a light day for you.
That is a light day. But no, I get a chance to go around and see some of the cool products, and I'm looking for, a few of the kind of off-the-wall products that people are producing and stuff like that.
And we got some small booths out there. You never know what you're going to see in those.
Exactly, and that's cool. And there's two of them that actually kind of stood out to me this week, and it actually is not from smaller companies. It's actually from the big boys.
All right.
Savage actually has a little rascal.
And you were telling me about it.
I was telling you about it.
Of course, you're thinking about your son.
Yes, I'm thinking about my son, and I'm sitting there going, oh, my gosh, he would love this because it looks just like Dad's gun. It's a little tactical version of a long-range
Oh, so it doesn't look like a little toy gun kind of thing.
No, huh? But it is a single load, so you hand him a shell.
Okay.
He gets to rack the bolt.
22?
22.
All right.
And the barrel's threaded, and it has a bipod on it. It's completely blacked out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you start to look at it like that, he has that,
He's got a gun just like Dad or Mom.
Just like Dad or Mom.
Right.
Yes.
All right. So he's got his tactical looking, but it's a single shot.
Single shot. Great to start kids out on. And they recommend, like, hey, it's 6 years old, man. They're ready for it. And it's all shortened for the youth.
And I love the idea that you can put a suppressor on it.
Yes.
It's already threaded,
well,
good to go.
And I told you about that suppressor I saw yesterday.
You showed me a picture of it.
I showed you a picture of it, and it's called the Biddy, and which is kind of a funny name.
How tall, how long is that thing?
It's tall enough to fit in a box of 22 ammo. That's how big it is.
And the diameter and the length, it'll fit into a box of 22 ammo.
And so I immediately thought of that rascal gun.
Sure.
That's perfect.
Because you get a little gun, you don't want to put a big old suppressor on it.
No, you don't want to do that. You'll front and end load that thing.
Right.
And you don't want to do that. But it's hearing safe. It's wonderful to shoot. And
wow.
Yeah, that was one of the cool ones. And another one that actually kind of stood out was, and they don't have a name for it. Like, so a lot of products that come in here.
They show it to you, but we don't know what to call it yet.
Right. They don't know what to call it yet, but you walk over, and I was looking at the Stag booth, and they've got a dedicated platform for the Glock magazines in an AR gun. And so now you're talking, it just
really
accepts. And guess what? They are making one that's coming out in 10 millimeter.
Oh, be still my heart. So you're going to have an AR
yes.
that takes the Glock mags
yes.
in 10 millimeter.
10 millimeter. And they don't have a name for it. They don't have a name for it. So if you got names, hey, reach out to Stag.
I came up with 6 or 7 just in my head right now. But the problem is, you come up with these names, and a lot of them are already taken in some form or fashion.
That's right.
And I'm thinking, Perfect 10,
Oh, that'd be great.
And I know there's probably like 27 products that already have that.
Absolutely.
So they'll come up with something.
That was a cool one that I just happened to walk by.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
You go into a booth, and you're looking around, and it's like, wait, what is that?
Yeah.
And you go, and now what other thing happens is sometimes you walk into a booth and somebody and you've been around the business long enough, and they say, KJ, come back here. I want to show you something. And they open a cabinet and they pull something out, and you go, and then they say, now you can't tell anybody about this, right?
But like, why are you doing this to me?
That's right, but it's what we're going to be seeing next year, right?
Right. And that is one of the cool. And it's happening very close to where we're at right now, and they're coming out with some pretty cool stuff. That's all I'm saying.
That's right. And then they say, you can't tell anybody about this, okay?
Yeah.
But one thing that's happening is the release cycle is so much shorter now than it used to be.
It really is.
It used to be they would show you something at a SHOT Show, and it'd be the next SHOT Show. Now, if they show you to you, it's going to be out in 2 months.
Oh, they're cranking them out.
Nobody's waiting for the next show. They just, as soon as it's ready, man, it's out.
Yep.
It's out there.
And they push all their product managers, and I think that's something that maybe the general public doesn't realize about these product guys is they're always looking for what's new. Either it's a new material or a new design. They're always looking for a way to get newer products out quicker to the consumer base.
Right.
And I actually, walking around the show, there's quite a bit of buzz about growth. And I think we're seeing that through the entire line of products that we're seeing now.
Last year, a lot of people were talking about, well, gun sales are down, the gun business is down. And it was for a lot of companies. There were some that held their own pretty well. Mm-hmm. But in talking to people today, in the last 2-3 days, I think business is up, it's back, and people are feeling pretty darn good about where everything is right now.
Yep, I definitely think it's trending up, and I think a lot of that is like companies like FN is they're innovating and they're offering what their consumers are wanting. Because
look at this thing on the right here.
Exactly.
I mean, when you got a semi-automatic belt-fed saw.
I mean,
yeah, who doesn't want that?
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, who does not want that, right?
But when companies are actually listening to their consumer base, it's a lot easier for people to go out and purchase those products because they're like, man, we wanted to see
that. They're making what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I told them I should have done that. And so now all of a sudden they're like, well, did you see what I created over at FN?
I've actually heard people say that. Said, I told Ruger, FN, Smith, whoever, I told them they ought to do that. And sure enough, they brought it out. And I'm thinking, they've been working on that for 2 years. But that's okay. That's right. You go with that.
Yeah. Companies are light years ahead of what folks actually think.
And they all have a list that they're working on. It's like, okay, here's our next 20 products.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they just go down and they check those boxes. And I'm actually hearing more companies now, and it's you always hear companies rushing products out the door and stuff like that. And, maybe it's not as fine-tuned, but man, here lately, I haven't seen anything on this show floor that I wasn't very impressed with.
You just put your money down and buy it.
Goodness, yes, right, immediately.
Exactly right. No, I know what you're talking about. It's a hoot and a half. It's kind of hard to explain the NRA's annual meeting. Next year it's in Indianapolis. I keep telling people, you got to be there.
You have to be there. If you are not at that show, you are missing out on one of the greatest family reunions in this entire
Great way to put it. It's a family reunion. Even if you haven't met these people before, it is your extended family.
It is. And you meet people all the time.
Yep. Thanks, KJ. Hey, don't go far. We'll be back in a minute with more from the FN booth.
Welcome back to Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, live from the FN booth at the NRA show.
And we're back with you, Tom Gresham here. It's Gun Talk. Gun Talk Radio, heard coast to coast all over the place. If you miss a show, you can always pick it up off the podcast. And the easiest way to do that is just to use the Gun Dealio app, because you can hear all the podcasts that way. And Gun Dealio app, of course, is free, available for your Android and your Apple iPhone. Just pick it up where you pick up your apps. We're joined right now by a friend of ours. You've been on the show before. We've done a lot of TV together. Andrew Wright from SureFire. We were just, 3 weeks ago we were together shooting guns and gear, right?
That's right, out in Mississippi.
Yeah, in Mississippi at the Boondocks Training Academy there, which was a new place for us. And we were talking about it. Nice place.
It's a beautiful facility. I mean, super well-groomed, awesome pro shop, great amenities.
And the folks there, no matter what we needed, they were always Johnny on the spot with whatever it was.
Yeah, 100%. We needed, hey, we need somewhere dark indoors. Boom, we were there.
Yeah. We had the weirdest thing. We're setting it up. I said, you wouldn't happen to have old carpet or something. I said, well, let's see. And then they come back with this 16-foot-long roll of black wrap felt, and we covered everything with it. It was just, and we're going, who are these guys? How do they do this?
Yeah, if you were going to spec out what you needed for a set, that's exactly it.
It was perfect. Yeah. And then they had all these ranges, and we did some stuff indoors with your products in actually in a house, but they also have some simunitions type shoot houses and things there.
Yep,
which is very cool.
They have that training facility with that little indoor virtual reality range. Where
that was slick, wasn't it?
Yep.
Big video training room where you can have scenarios and
use a flashlight with the device and
illuminate
where
you're. That?
It's like an infrared thing that activates on the screen.
So the screen's black. The big whole wall is covered with a video screen, and then you have a flashlight. And when you shine the flashlight on the screen, only the circle where the flashlight is you can see, so it shows you kind of the tunnel vision thing, which kind of takes us to one of the points that we were showing with your newest type of product is a lot of times you don't need a spot. Yep. You need to see a lot of stuff. You need to see wide because bad guys can be lurking in corners.
That's right. Yeah, so we have a bunch of different beam patterns available. We make, if a spot's what you want, that's great. We have that as well. But the max vision is something that we've been pushing pretty hard, and it seems that, a lot of engagements happen within a close distance, and having a wide beam pattern can definitely be advantageous for increasing your situational awareness, or just basically seeing more of what's going on around you. So our max vision beam, I think, specifically, we had our XH35, which is a handgun weapon light out there, and it puts out 1,000 lumens, and with that max vision beam, basically fills up a room. Very wide.
And people will see, we went two different ways. We had another brand with a little narrow spot, and it actually is fairly weak. And we had a scenario, and they'll see it on Guns and Gear, and came up, and you were on bad guy over there, but then when you looked over in the shadow over where the beam's not showing, there's another bad guy.
Yep.
And then we used your product, the SureFire. You just turn it on, and boom, the whole room is lit up, and you can see both bad guys.
Yep.
That's pretty much the whole story right there.
Yeah, you don't really need to say much after that. You just kind of drop the microphone and let it sell itself.
Yeah, you can see one of them, or you can see all of them.
Exactly right.
Your choice, right?
Yep.
All right, so what's the story on that? Is that a fairly new product?
Yeah, the XH35, it's fairly new. I mean, we've been shipping it for, I think, about 6 months now, maybe a little bit longer than that. But yeah, it's a newer product for us, and it's been doing very well. It also has some features on the bottom if you want to, it's 1,000 lumens. It's just a whole lot of light. And some people think that might be too much light. And if you're of that mindset, there's a toggle switch on the bottom, and you simply toggle it to a low setting, and then it's 300 lumens.
Really?
And that's going to extend your runtime as well, give you a little bit more battery life.
Okay, sure.
There's also another toggle switch that can give you a strobe. So for those that want to have a strobe function, it's definitely there for you to use it. If that's not what you're into, you can just turn that off and never use it again.
People do kind of divide on the whole strobe thing, don't they?
Very, very divided.
I mean, you work with a lot of trainers, and you got people who are strongly one way or the other, and that's BS. Okay, fine, doesn't matter. You make a product, they can turn it on, they can turn it off, whatever you want to do.
We have a solution. If they need it, we got the answer.
You got a button for it if you want it, and if you don't hit the button.
100%.
It's simple as that.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it comes down to.
That's kind of what SureFire's always done. You guys listen to people, and people know you for your illumination products, but there's actually more to SureFire than that.
Yeah, we do.
I'm looking at what you've got on the table here.
Yeah, so right here we have an OBC. That's our Optimized Bolt Carrier Group. This is a brand new product. Basically what this is a reliability enhancement package for AR platforms, M4s, M16s. There's a counterweight in the rear of it that helps keep the bolt carrier to the rear when it's going to the rear, and that leaves the bolt hanging there longer, giving the magazine more time to feed, increasing your reliability.
Interesting.
Additionally, when the bolt's slamming home, normally in a high-speed camera, you'll see there's bolt bounce. This completely eliminates bolt bounce by the counterweight continuing to move forward.
Well, bolt bounce, when you see it in slow motion, the bolt goes all the way forward, and then it actually comes back a little bit, and then comes back forward and settles in.
Correct, and it does that 3 times.
Wow.
Additionally, the gas carrier key on top is cut shorter, about 400 thou, and it has one large screw, letting the carrier travel further. It has more stroke into the receiver extension, and along with this shorter buffer, that's how you get that additional stroke. That gives the magazine more time to feed. A lot of malfunctions when you watch on high-speed camera is the bolt carrier outrunning the magazine.
So the magazine, the next round to be stripped, doesn't have enough time to actually come up and be caught by the bolt.
Yes.
The bolt actually comes back and forward before the spring can move the round up.
Correct.
Correct. That's what we're looking.
That's an accurate assessment. Yep.
Okay.
And so basically all these changes, there's a couple other things. The cam pin slot in the front, without getting too technical, it's lengthened so that the bolt stays forward, locked longer as the carrier comes to the rear, and that reduces your chamber pressure because the pressure in the chamber is diffusing the longer it stays locked, and that, again, reduces wear on parts. So overall, again, it's a reliability enhancement package, and that's called the OBC. That's just one example of us doing things outside the wheelhouse most people know us for lights. So this is one component. We also do suppressors, and those are...
Hold on to that thought. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back when we talk suppressors and some of the other stuff you guys have been doing, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, we're talking with Andrew Wright from SureFire. Obviously, check it out, surefire.com. I'm Tom Gresham. We're in the FM booth at the NRA's annual meetings, and we will be right back.
Think all ammo's the same? Think again. Aguila Ammunition uses the highest quality materials and is one of the world's largest rimfire manufacturers. Want silent 22 ammo, powderless Super Calibri, and Sniper Subsonic merely whisper. For light recoil and big performance, mini shells make any shotgun a pleasure to shoot. Match grade and the Hyperfast Super Maximum and Interceptor 22 loads get the maximum for your rifle or pistol. Visit AguilaAmmo.com/rimfire. Feed your firearm.
Whether you are a first-timer or seasoned shooter, Double Star has the guns, edged weapons, and parts you desire. Our products are made in America and held to the highest quality standards. No exceptions. Double Star and Ace Limited manufactures products people bet their lives on without hesitation. That awesome responsibility motivates the Double Star family, and it will proudly protect yours. When you're ready for the best, join our family at star15.com. That's star15.com.
Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. The time is now to band together. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
Why do hunters and shooters love the Ruger American rifle? With right-handed and left-handed versions, all-weather, Magnum, Compact, Predator, Ranch, and Scope package options, there's a Ruger American for everyone. Lightweight with an adjustable trigger and minute of angle accuracy, Ruger American rifles pack in the features. Is the Ruger American the best rifle on the market? See for yourself at your local retailer or at Ruger.com. That's Ruger.com.
All right, back with you here, Tom Gresham. It is Gun Talk. Gun Talk Radio. Check it out, guntalk.com. Also on Twitter, I am at Gun Talk. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, like us there, look for Gun Talk Media. And, of course, we have, you can see our videos everywhere now. Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, YouTube, of course, everywhere else. We're talking with Andrew Wright from SureFire. And, Andrew, of course, you end up being on a whole bunch of our videos now because you bring out cool stuff like sometimes full auto stuff and suppressors and really, really fun stuff, man. It's like when you shoot it, you can't help but smile.
That's the idea.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been doing a lot with our suppressor line right now, expanding it. A lot of new stuff coming out. I don't know if I told you, we launched not too long ago a brand new SOCOM 260 titanium can.
No.
So it's an outstanding option for both 260 and 6.5, which has been getting really popular on the military side. High-end special operations been running a lot of 260 and a lot of 6.5.
So why do you need something different for those?
So because it's a precision-oriented suppressor, we can get away with maybe a less durable but lighter weight material, where weight's more of a factor. So the round count and the amount of abuse the suppressor is going to be going through is a lot less.
All right, so you don't have to worry about putting 10,000 rounds through it necessarily.
100%, yeah. And, well, mainly it's not even a round count. This is a good question, actually. with suppressor life, I mean, round count is not as important as the cadence of fire. So if you're, full auto dumping through a can and getting those temperatures really up high.
Okay, so it's a temp.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to wear out your baffles. And
okay, that's interesting. So nobody's really going full auto with a 260 or a 6.5 Creedmoor.
No, they're mostly bolt guns or even semi-automatic gas guns for precision. Your round count and cadence is a lot slower and less. But that's a brand new suppressor, and obviously the baffles are optimized for those gases to make it as quiet as possible. So it's a 12-ounce suppressor. It's 8 inches, super lightweight, and pretty awesome new product. 12 ounces. Do you get the lightweight from the titanium? Correct.
Huh. What could you reasonably expect? I mean, well, actually, I'm just thinking, I corrected myself in the middle of the question. It's not really a round count, because you said if you're not just burning them up with full auto, it's not an issue at all then.
No, that suppressor will last you a very long time.
Probably longer than I will. So
yep. It'll outlive many barrels, especially on that caliber where you're kind of burning through barrels.
That's true.
The suppressor will last quite a while.
That's pretty neat. So is that out now?
Yep, that's now shipping. It's $13.50 MSRP. We actually showed it first at SHOT Show. I just don't know if I mentioned that to you.
I don't know if you mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, well,
you got so many things to talk about.
There's a lot of different
products.
You
always got cool stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, new weapon lights, handhelds. We have Ear Pro. There's a pretty diverse product line now.
Your Ear Pro, how'd you guys get into that business? We're talking about ear protection here, hearing protection, yeah. And they're like super duper alien looking earplugs almost.
Yep. There's a gentleman named Richard Smith that had a design and basically approached Dr. Matthews and said, can we work together on this? And so basically what we got popular for is we have there's a noise break that looks kind of like a reverse staircase, but basically the more noise that goes in, the more it blocks out. And with this noise filter, specifically for impulse noises like gunshots, it can protect your hearing, give you at least 24 decibels of noise reduction rating, but still allow you to hear conversational level tones so you can carry conversation around them. So very good option, especially, electronic hearing protection is quite expensive.
Right.
This is a very cost-effective way of doing a similar task.
Give me an idea. What do they cost?
Oh, between $15 to $20 for a set.
That's nuts.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, talk about affordable. Holy cow.
Yeah, they're really awesome. I mean, I use them all the time on the range. Generally, I like to wear 2 sets of Ear Pro just to be extra safe. But if it's hot out, these are a really good option as well, just by themselves.
It's interesting you said that, because I have been for some years telling people it's really okay, and I advise you to double up on your hearing protection. For one thing, it protects your hearing, but other is particularly with new shooters who are particularly recoil. If they're recoil sensitive, chances are they're actually more noise sensitive than recoil. Don't you find?
100%. I always make new shooters double up with the highest level of hearing protection I can. Just to, it stops you from flinching. It stops you from being scared.
Right.
I mean, it's a lot of benefits. And even, myself, I double up still to this day. I think the more protection I get,
especially
the better.
At indoor ranges.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man.
Indoor ranges or shorter guns, anything that's going to be allowed.
Stuff, or if you've got one of those metal awnings over your bench where you're shooting, those can be really horrible. And if you're shooting muzzle brakes.
Yep. So hearing loss is cumulative. The more you get, there's both a temporary and a permanent hearing loss every time you incur it, but you're still stacking it on top of each other.
Right.
So
it's a one-way deal. You don't go back.
No, you do not.
Once you've lost it, you've lost whatever you lost today. If it's 0.5%, you lost it.
Yep, 100%. So I try and protect my hearing as much as possible, and if you shoot a lot, it'd behoove you to double up.
When you hang around a lot of old shooters, you hear a lot of, what, that whole deal.
You really do. You really do. And everyone's yelling.
Yeah, everybody's yelling.
You run out of volume on the TV, it's a slippery slope.
Exactly. So, all right, tell people the quick history of SureFire, because it's interesting. It's an interesting company.
Yeah, so Dr. Matthews, who founded SureFire, still comes into work every day. He has a PhD, laser and physics, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
Might be misquoting that, but check the website. But basically, he was designing lasers for the more industrial market, but he was a big firearms enthusiast, and so he started making some lasers that you could mount on guns as an easier way to aim. Some law enforcement buddies took notice, and then they started buying small amounts, and so he started this company, Laser Products, and they built basically lasers for revolvers, Mini 14s, shotguns, and we've come a long way since then. Started doing flashlights, and that got bigger. The flashlight was the SureFire brand, and that got bigger than the laser side, and then we changed the name to SureFire fully, and now we've been doing products for over 38 years.
Man, and all high quality. I mean, you're known for your high quality, innovative design, but also really rugged stuff that works.
Yes, sir. We hold a really high quality standard. We machine everything in-house. We do everything in-house, and we manufacture in Fountain Valley, California.
Perfect. All right. For they want to know more about it, SureFire.com.
That's correct.
You can see all the stuff there. Andrew, thank you. It's always a pleasure. And everybody's going to be able to see you in about a month, a little bit more than a month on Guns and Gear, all our TV stuff we're doing.
Awesome. I appreciate it very much, Tom.
That was all right. Thanks so much. Yeah, SureFire makers of good stuff. Good flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, and accessories. Check it out. All right, we'll be right back in just a minute from the FN booth at the NRA annual meeting in Dallas. All right, back with you. Tom Gresham, it's Gun Talk. Having a ball, just talking about guns, lights, lasers, ammo, optics, anything else. I'm looking around. It's thinning out a little bit. Just to give you the update, people, it has been busy. The show opened on Friday. I call it the show. It's the NRA annual meetings, but there's this huge exhibit hall. It's interesting. I've had a lot of people tell me over the years, I'd really like to go to the SHOT Show. And I tell them, no, actually, what you really want to do is go to the NRA show. And I call it the NRA show because it's a big show for us. And it is a hoot and a half. It's for me, it's more fun than SHOT. At SHOT, people are doing business. It is strictly limited. It's not open to the public. I mean, a lot of times you can find a way in. But what you're going to see is that people are selling. That's where they're taking orders and talking to their dealers and distributors. At the NRA show, they're just showing stuff. They're not selling things here. Nobody's buying guns here. It's not that type of gun show. The atmosphere is different. It is relaxed. It is everybody's sharing. Even when it's interesting. Even when it's crowded, and it's less crowded now. But yesterday it was packed. I mean, it was hard to move through the aisles, and nobody's cranky, which I thought was interesting. I mean, I know I talk about the fact that it's kind of a cool place and it's a different vibe here, but nobody is cranky, even though we're jammed up against each other, having fun. Now, just to give you an idea, I'm sitting here in the FN booth, I'm looking around. If you were here, what you would be seeing would be, let's see, the Ruger booth right behind me, NRA TV, Federal, Spear, CCI, Champion, Hoppies, Butler Creek, Outers, Blackhawk, Eagle. I can see Springfield Armory. I'm leaning over now. I can see Beretta. Remington is right next to us. That's an idea. FTW Ranch is right behind us. By the way, we're going to be going out to FTW Ranch in about a month, I think, and doing a little video out there. Great place to get some serious long-range shooting training, but also not just long-range shooting, about basic training for your hunt. Really good activities there in terms of hunting. Hey, Mark Gurney. He can't hear me. I'm trying to flag somebody down there. People walking by, you say, hey, how you doing? And you can wave to them and bring them on over. But FTW Ranch, if you're not familiar with it, you can check it out on the web. They have they call it the SAM course, and it's preparing you for your hunt. It teaches you, they'll teach you long-range shooting, but not how to shoot at long range. It's how to find out what your max effective range is. And it might be 300 yards for you. It might be 500 yards for somebody else. But at least at that point, okay, that's as far as I can shoot reliably and ethically, and I like that. But they also do some really neat stuff. They've got a walk-up course where you end up with African buffalo and, elephants and things charging and popping out, and you got to shoot them life-size. We're talking life-size stuff. Really cool. So we'll be out there doing that. Those are the kind of people you get to see when you're I'm looking across. Umarex is over there. Excess Sights I can see. Yeah, if you were here, you would be seeing all those. You can go talk to anybody, and everybody will talk to you. And I don't care if it's a Rob Latham or a Jerry Mitchlick or a Julie Golub or Hickok 45. Everybody's here, and everybody will stop and talk. It's just that kind of place. It's a different feel. It's just, I don't know. It's special. Oh my God, Dixie Gun Works is right behind me. They got a Gatling gun. I love Gatling guns. By the way, a Gatling gun is not a machine gun. You can own one. No paperwork necessary. Well, you got to have a lot of paper to own one because they're expensive. But they are very cool, the original Those are really sweet. But, yeah, if you get a chance, go ahead and make your plans now. Indianapolis next year for the NRA's annual meetings. I mean, we're going to be there. It's pretty sweet. And Indianapolis is within driving distance of an awful lot of the country, although a lot of people do fly in. But it's a great family event. So I would certainly encourage you to take a look at that and, start thinking about it. If you can, make your plans to be there. It's really something else. Having ball here. We're in the FN booth. We're watching all the people look at all the and I'm talking very cool guns here. Tell you what, be back in a minute with more from the NRA's annual meetings in Dallas.